Adam Lavelle back with you to talk about, to discuss, to have some banter, some bare knuckle banter about Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship number 76 out of Texas. The first match, we're jumping right into this sucker. It was whoop ass Willie Gates taking on Brandon Menezes in a very exciting, crazy. I mean, this went one round, but this was an absolutely beautiful, non-stop, exciting fight. This is fighting the way people like me at least dream of seeing it. Get in there, have some fists of fury, look like, you're watching a Rocky movie, if you will, but it's not fake, it's not acting, it's legit and as real and as badass as it comes. Do you understand me? If you don't understand me, watch this card, watch this fight. Yes, it's on DAZN, DAZN. What a goofy name. I mean, the zone, I don't, but DAZN is DAZN. That's irrational for me to be annoyed by it, but I somewhat am. Just a little bit too, I don't know what to call it, but who cares? I don't care if it's on something called the shit. I don't care if it's on something called the puke. Just give me more of it. And yes, you have to pay a monthly subscription to DAZN DAZN to watch Bare Knuckle once a month, once every other month, just every once in a while. They have a special card that can only be watched on DAZN, and this was one of them, and I paid for it. I don't even want to say what I would pay for this per month, but I will gladly pay a fee to watch the best sports combat in the world, the best sport in the world. And I grew up playing football and baseball and wrestling a little bit. I grew up on it. I loved it. I was such a big, huge Penn State fan until that whole mess that happened up there with Sandusky. I'm telling you, I ate, breathed, and slept Penn State football. I don't hate them now, but those days are over. I need to fill a gap. I need to fill something in my life because pro wrestling stopped being great to me 20 years ago, even though I kept up with it. So woke in the NFL and MLB and NHL, so political, so social justicey. I really don't need that crap in my life. I really don't. Nothing does it for me anymore. I've been a little sad. Been a little despondent. I am so thankful to have found this. And this fight, all that to say, this fight is an example of why this sport fulfills my needs so much. Yes, it only went one round, but man, whoop-ass Willie Gates looked like $10 million, if you will, on the zone. Looking bad, looking like a bull of the woods, that is. Dusty Rhodes used to say he's going to get in that ring, then he's going to take charge, and he's going to take down his opponent like he's going to get funky like a monkey. Not the best Dusty impression, I know. But Willie Gates just crushed it. Won in the first round. I mean, he's got the black hair and partially black beard and the Scott Steiner golden goatee going around it. Just, he knows that makes him stand out. He knows that makes him memorable. I will remember this guy by his looks and by his ridiculously exciting fight style. Amazing start. Whoop-ass Willie Gates taking down Brandon Menezes in the first match. And this was just a sign of things to come. This just got better and better. Because next up was Jake Heffernan versus Paco Castillo. And look, this was another brutal fight that only went one round. And if you don't like that, if you don't like fights that end quickly, then I guess this ain't for you. Not all the fights do. We had some incredible 5-rounders, 3-rounders. Incredible. Up and down this card was everything a fight fan dreams of. Quick knockouts, knockdown, drag out, 5-rounders. It has everything except your lay and pray, boredom, crap, put you to sleep that so much other sports combat has in it. This show is full of guys fighting to win, not fighting not to lose. You know what I mean? There's a big difference between fighting to win a bout and fighting to just not lose it. And you don't see anybody, or it's very, very rare to find anybody who's in this company, Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, that fights just to protect themselves. Now, there are those who, especially first-timers, who will be a little more reserved. They're feeling it out. I get that. I understand that. We'll talk about that later. But this was not one of those fights. Heffernan and Castillo went at each other like they owed each other money, like they assaulted the other one's spouse. I mean, this was brutal. This was violent. And it was Heffernan who just beat the hell out of Castillo, at one point hitting him so hard his mouth guard not only fell out, it went flying across the squared circle, if you will, and he pretty much gave up. Castillo pretty much turned his back. When you turn your back, the ref is going to stop the fight. And I don't mean just for a second. I mean, he went to the ropes with his back turned. He was done. He was out. This was over in the first round. Jake Heffernan with a gigantic, gigantic win. Impressive, fun, and exciting in every single way. Then we had Rodney Hinton take on Darren Whitney, Fight of the Year contender. Fight of the Year contender. Be a little video, be up here in the corner while I'm talking, or right here to my side. I say corner because that's the way I used to do wrestling shows. Now I just go side by side. Right beside me, you're going to see a clip of this video. Just a small clip. Thank you to Bare Knuckle Fighting and DAZN for providing that. Didn't know who was winning this. It came down to, and again, it's just my opinion, I could be dead wrong, who had more strikes, and out of those strikes, who had the higher percentage of them that actually hit. And in that way, this was an easy decision. I'm not saying this was an easy fight to judge. I'm not saying this wasn't a strong fight between both guys. But let me tell you something. I am saying the majority of the decision went to Rodney Hinton, and I believe it was for those reasons. I believe it was because he hit more strikes, and the percentage of those strikes landed more than did Darren Whitney. What Darren Whitney seemed to do, he seemed like he didn't feel any of Hinton's offense, but Hinton got a ton of offense, right? A ton of just in there, like he's hitting a speed bag. But instead, it was the upper torso, base, and chin of Darren Whitney. But Darren Whitney blocked them all, and Hinton didn't go to the body too much, which I think was a mistake in my opinion. And maybe could have taken him out. Maybe could have got somewhat of a liver shot, even though you're not allowed to reach around and hit somebody in the back purposely, I don't think. But it was crazy. It was crazy. Hinton won this with all of those blows, right? Whitney blocked and was looking for a big return, big uppercut, big top down, big something. And he hit a couple of those, but you know, Hinton took and won by decision. But Rodney Hinton won the fight of the night, in my opinion. I mean, it's debatable. We're going to tell you what other fight might have been the fight of the night. But there were two fight of the nights officially. The owner, Feldman, he named this fight and another one Fight of the Night. They were just, it was, again, like a Rocky movie, like a boxing movie. You know, when you go to boxing movies and sometimes you're like, this isn't realistic. No guys can take this amount of punishment. No guys can keep getting up from this. No guys could be thrown to the ground, which you get in trouble. You know, you get a stiff warning from the ref if you do that. But these guys, a lot of them come out of MMA and they're used to, you know, shooting, and they got to fight doing that. So sometimes they'll get in the clinch and the other one will sort of power out and throw the one down, and the referee's got to jump in and warn them. But this is like those boxing movies, like Rocky, like any other boxing movie you've seen, and maybe thought to yourself, I don't think this, I mean, this is cool and exciting, but this could never be real. Let me tell you what, it is real. This fight proves it. If you want to sell your friends, family, neighbors, relatives on Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, this is the fight you show them. This and one other, which I don't want to spoil as I talk. Rodney Hinton defeat Darren Whitney by decision, majority decision, only because more of his strikes landed. But let me tell you, both of these guys are now two of my heroes in this sport. Holy hell, what a fight. Then we had Anthony Garrett take on Hayes Wilson. Hayes Wilson, kind of a cool name, right? You ought to go by Purple. You know, Purple Hayes Wilson, and wear purple. I don't know, just my idea, an oldie but a goodie, right? The Purple Haze. But this went out in the first round as well. Only a minute and a half in. And I really, as a Christian, I love Anthony Garrett's nickname, the Warrior of Christ. The Warrior of Christ. Now, I hope he doesn't lose very often with that nickname. Let's not reflect bad on our Lord and Savior, huh, Anthony Garrett? But he is great. He is plowing through the heavyweight division. He's going to be a top contender, a title contender in no time. Taking nothing away from Hayes Wilson, again with the cool name. But Anthony Garrett had no issue with him, knocking him out in a minute and a half. Again, I think in an exciting fight. Can a minute and a half be exciting? You're damn right it can. And if you don't think that it can, you aren't watching Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. And let's go. Warrior of Christ, I'm with you. I'm in the army, brother. That's for sure. Then we moved on to J.C. Delone taking on Ruben War. What a great name. Ruben War. I mean, what a great name. But it wasn't to be. War goes down in the third round. It's just that J.C. Delone had more to offer, obviously. I mean, War lasted until 30 rounds. 30 rounds. Wouldn't that be something? The third round. 48 seconds in, and then he was out and he was done. But I want to see more of him. This was a solid fight. Of course, I want to see more of De Leon. He looked amazing in the big win here. I'm not shouting from the rooftops about this fight. I don't know why. I did enjoy it. I guess it just wasn't quite as exciting as some of the other ones we've seen, but that's taking nothing away from either one of these guys. That's more on me and being kind of dumb and not giving everything the credit deserves. I don't know why. I liked this match. I did. I liked this fight. But it doesn't jar in my memory, and I do have a few notes, but it doesn't jar in my memory the way these other fights have so far. But to have a 3-rounder and a knockout, impressive as hell. I think I'm also distracted by this next bout. We got Kenzie Morrison of the Morrison family. You remember who his dad was, right? You remember? Yeah. Tommy Morrison, the legendary, world-renowned boxer. His son is stepping into the squared circle. Kenzie Morrison coming in, if I remember correctly, with a 21-1 boxing record, and he's dropping the gloves to come in here, taking on Alex Davis. Well, poor Alex Davis. 1 minute and 3 seconds into the first round. This guy's done. This guy's down. This guy's out. Morrison is strong as hell. The only thing Morrison lacks is a little bit of charisma. I think he has the capability of turning the charisma knob up a little bit. He just has to be coached into it. I mean, he's a humble guy, but yet he's good. He's amazing. I mean, his boxing record is almost unparalleled. I mean, I don't know how high he made it in the boxing world. I haven't watched regular boxing in a long, long time, so I can't speak to it. But he's the man, and he's going to be the man. He just needs to step up that charisma a little bit more. There wasn't much to this fight other than Morrison completely overpowering and overwhelming Davis, like I said, in just a little bit over 1 minute. 63 seconds. And Morrison stands victorious and 1-0 in bare knuckle boxing. Said he's here to stay. Said he will go after the title. And I'm telling you, I can't wait to follow this guy. Delano and Morrison, two of the guys that are really, staying strong with me. And I love all these guys. Please don't misunderstand. I mean, my God, Willie Gates as well. But Morrison, I think, could be the man going forward very soon. Then we had the women up next. Jessica Ai taking on Maria Agapova. Jessica Ai, they went 5 rounds. Now, I've seen some complaints online. I saw some idiot say, oh, cut them both. This was boring. You guys are ridiculous. I mean, Jessica Ai, her first fight in bare knuckle, coming out of the MMA world where normally she could shoot and tackle and submit and take down and pass guard and all that stuff that they do that put you to sleep in the UFC and Bellator. But here she had to only strike. She didn't make a mistake and try to take down or anything, but these people that are brand new coming out of MMA with good reputations, they're not want to dive in and get the hell knocked out in the first minute or two. And they're not going to do that. Now, remember when I said Delano's opponent, Jesse, waved his hand around like that, while he fought? I noticed that Agapova did the same thing here. She was a very defensive fighter. And Jessica Ai, a terrific fighter, a terrific striker, had a hard time getting in under that. That seems to be, I can't explain it. I'm not a professional, not even close. So I can't explain the defensive prowess of that. It works beautifully well. I look for other fighters to adapt it. I've seen it twice in this card. And backing up and coming in and ducking under and keeping your opponent at bay is something some fighters concentrate on incredibly. We're going to see it again here in a moment. And that is what Agapova did. She fought defensively and counterstruck. And Jessica Ai tried to come in and just couldn't quite get under that defense. So yes, I could see how some people would see this as a little bit boring, especially when you just watched how many fights that had you literally on the edge of your seat leaning in like, oh my God, like acting like that. This fight didn't elicit that kind of reaction. It didn't. This was a fight where you sat back and you watched them pick each other apart and tried to determine who was going to be more successful at that. And in the end, it was Jessica Ai. She was more successful in picking Agapova apart because Agapova fought defensively, waiting for that big strike that she never got. I'm not saying she didn't land anything, but she never got the big knockout blow. So she lost because she fought more reserved. And Jessica Ai advanced the entire fight with Agapova on her horse, going backwards the entire fight. Now, she did fight. Please don't misunderstand me. This wasn't one of those boring things where they circle each other and swig at the air once in a while. It wasn't that. Both of them had plenty of cuts and marked up, banged up faces. But it wasn't like the fights before it, and so some people pissed and moaned about it. But this was good. This was solid. Big, big win. Jessica I won every round of her very first bare knuckle fight. She might be up for a title shot next or very, very soon. Even though, God forgive me, I can't remember her name, the women's champion looks scary as hell. She looks like she could fight men. No offense to her, but good luck to whoever takes her on. Wow, but this was a solid fight for the women. Okay, next up we had the one and only Andrei Arlovsky coming out of the MMA world. The big badass pit bull that tears his opponents up, coming in here, taking on the teddy bear, the cuddly teddy bear, what he's honestly called, Josh Copeland. In another 5-rounder that Arlovsky sort of fought defensively. He wasn't doing the hand wave too much because he doesn't really need to rely on that. He was relying on fighting defensively. This was his first bare knuckle fight again. Does Arlovsky want to come in here and get humiliated? Hell no. So he's going to be more calculating. He's going to be more defensive. I'm not making an excuse for a bad fight. This was a good fight. Arlovsky pounded Copeland's face into hamburger, and that's how he won it. It actually went 4 rounds. I'm sorry, not 5. 4 rounds of calculating defensive fighting, but coming in when he could, mashing Copeland's face into a raw, bloody mess to the point that the doctor said he can't continue. This can't. He let it continue into the 3rd round with his eye and face all bashed and cut up badly. But at the end of the 3rd round, a little 2 minutes into the 4th, so right at the end of the 4th, basically, nope, we have to call this. Copeland's face is too smashed up, and Arlovsky, the pit bull, gets his first big win in bare knuckle and gets into the face. I mean, right after the match, gets into the face of the heavyweight champion, Ben Rothwell. And they're talking about having this fight already. Rothwell tells him, look, if you fight like you did against Copeland with me, I'll end your career. You better not come in here and fight like that. And again, I don't think Arlovsky, he fought defensively and counterstruck. And Rothwell's telling him, I'll kill you if you do that. You better come in here aggressively. And it looks like they're going to push this bout quickly. Maybe next. I don't know. I like Arlovsky. Think he's a good guy. I know he's a great fighter. Not sure he deserves a championship fight already. But I think we may get it fairly quick, if not next up, for both fighters. That might be their next bout. And I agree with Rothwell. I liked Arlovsky's fight. His strategy worked. But he'd have to be much more aggressive against Rothwell. Don't you agree? We may see it before you know it. And then next up was our main event for the interim BKFC World Lightweight title. Ben Bonner taking on Tony Soto. Now, the story of this match was Bonner stepping up with like 8 days' notice. This was not supposed to be Bonner's fight. But the fighter that it was originally meant to be, Franco Tenaglia, I think I'm saying that name right, was actually the champion. Had visa issues, so they say. Couldn't make it. I'm not saying anybody's lying. I don't know. Couldn't make the fight due to visa issues. Stripped of the title since he couldn't make it. And now, all of a sudden, this is a title match. Bonner, 8 days notice, is going to have an interim title fight for the lightweight championship against the #1 contender, Tony Soto. Tony Soto comes out to I Am a Real American, gets the crowd on her feet, gets the place popping and raring and roaring to go. He's going to have to fight him. Let me tell you what, Ben Bonner came into this extremely confident, pretty much guaranteed a victory. And people were, nobody laughed and nobody doubted him, but it's like Ben Bonner, very solid. I think he was 3-1, something like that. Tony Soto lost to Tenaglia, the former champion, in one of the possibly best fights in BKFC history. So he's coming in off that reputation, fighting a guy on 8 days' notice. Tony Soto's got this, right? Oh, hell no, he doesn't. Hell no, he doesn't. It went 5 rounds in another Rocky movie-style fight with both guys bruised and battered and bloodied and being knocked down. Both of them standing back up, continuing to go. 5 2-minute rounds. Exhausting when you're hitting each other with your bony bare knuckles. But both of them fought through it. It came to the end. Ben Bonner? I mean, I like the guy. I'm a fan now, but Ben Bonner is shocker of the year. He wins by unanimous decision, 49-44, 47-46, 48-45. unanimous decision, and new world lightweight champion, Ben Bonner. Tony Soto goes down in a Fight of the Year contender once again. That's the other one. Fight of the show. This one, absolutely. And the other one, Hinton and Whitney, that we discussed. Both of them, Feldman, the president of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, gave both of them Fight of the Night, and deservedly so. Guys, I already rated this on my social media. If you follow me, I hope you do. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. There was nothing wrong with this show. The one fight, the women's fight that people complained about, was not bad. It wasn't as exciting as the others, but it was not bad in any way, shape, or form. And if you think it was bad, I don't know what you want. Not every fight can be a Rocky movie style fight. It just can't. It just won't. Because some matches, some fights are going to be more technical and more measuring, right? And that's what the women's fight was, but it took nothing away from this. That's why I gave it a 10 out of 10. Sports combat perfectione, if you will. The best sport in the world, in my opinion. I just started watching several shows ago, and I'm convinced. No sport is going to excite me this much. No, will sometimes another sport have moments of greatness? Yes. Will some sports have edge of your seat excitement from here to there, here and here, here and there? Yes. But nothing from bell to bell, opening fight to main event, is exciting as this stuff. That's just the truth. Again, I'm Adam Lavelle. Please follow me on my Facebook, on my Twitter. I only discuss bare knuckle fighting. I only discuss that on those two mediums. I do have a personal Facebook, but I've almost said wrestling because that's what it was, but now it's bare knuckle fighting. That's all I discuss there. It's all I'm going to discuss on my Twitter, on my X, if you will. I appreciate the follow, but more than that, would you please subscribe to this channel and help it grow? I just want to put this stuff over. That's all I want to do. So by subscribing to me, you're helping bare knuckle fighting get more exposure, because that's all I'm about. And I'll be back with more discussion, more videos before you know it.